Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Boy Green25. Always appreciate the support. Like the video and hit subscribe down below. Let's get into the latest with Aaron Rodgers and what could be an interesting twist. In the YouTube description down below is an article that provides some more details on the conversation we're about to have. Now, obviously, the talks are stagnant between the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers. We're here recording this on April 15th on a Saturday, and yet no trade complete for the Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets. And interestingly enough, a month ago today, Aaron Rodgers announced on the Pat McAfee show, which was March 15th, his intention to play for the New York Jets. I think if I would have polled Jet fans at that moment in time, hey, a month later, where do you think Aaron Rodgers is? A lot of us would have already assumed on the New York Jets. However, that has not transpired. There's a new twist that could potentially move these talks forward, and it's the NFL stepping in to force a trade between the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers for Aaron Rodgers. Is this crazy? Is this Madden World? Paul Boy Green, what the hell are you talking about? And again, I get it. It might sound crazy on the surface, but here's a couple of nuggets. First off, Peter King of NBC Sports appeared on the official Jets podcast when they were live at the NFL owners meeting and said this. Quote, people have sort of said, well, they don't really need to do it until they get close to training camp. Rodgers is not a guy who's going to be in the offseason programs the whole time, blah, blah, blah. I say, well, wait a minute, because the NFL can't release its schedule seriously until Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. That's why, in my opinion, there's no way this goes much past the draft. I think it'll go before the draft because obviously the Jets are going to want to know, and Green Bay is going to want to know, and Green Bay is going to want the pick, and the Jets are going to be in 2023. I think it gets done before the draft. But the interesting point that Peter King raised was the NFL schedule. Now, the NFL schedule release date has kind of changed over the years. There's been some April dates, but in the COVID world, the NFL schedule has dropped in May, and it kind of makes sense because it extends the NFL calendar. Now, May is coming up right around the corner. Obviously, we're only a handful of weeks from May. And speaking of the NFL schedule release, the New York Jets are in a very interesting position. On one hand, if they have Zach Wilson, I imagine they aren't really going to be featured a lot in primetime games if he's really the projected starter, which he would be at this point. However, if the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, the Jets are expected to get the maximum 5 primetime game slots. Plus, of course, there will be additional flex opportunities. If you're in the NFL and you have this pivot point of like either 0 games or 1 because that's the default or 5 and you have this huge gap, but yet you don't really know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet, could perhaps the NFL step in and say, "Mm, why don't you guys get it done here?" Because obviously they're relatively close. If they were just so far off, like, they were at A, the Jets are at A, and the Packers are at Z, they would have never met. None of this would have happened. We wouldn't be talking about this right now. So they've made it to some point. Is it the goal line? Is it the inch line? Who knows? We don't know all the exact details. However, we do know that it's relatively close. Could the NFL just step in and figure this thing out? And you guys may think that's crazy, but actually, the NFL has done this sort of thing before. And actually, it was with the New York Jets. Zach Rosenblatt brought it up. I asked him the question in his athletic mailbag that was posted on Friday, April 7th. And he said this, quote, it wouldn't be the first time the NFL stepped in to help speed along a negotiation for the Jets. In 1997, the Jets and Patriots were locked into a dispute for Bill Parcells, who is set to become Jets head coach, but was still technically under contract with New England. NFL commissioner at the time, Paul Tagliabue, stepped in to mediate and was able to broker a deal. Tagliabue was able to settle the differences, and both sides reached a solution via trade. Here's what happened. The Jets received head coach Bill Parcells. The Patriots received a 1999 first-round pick, a 1998 second-round pick, a 1997 third-round pick, a 1997 fourth-round pick, and $300,000 donated to the Patriots Charitable Foundation. Reportedly, at the time, the big bone of contention between the Patriots and Jets was about the New York Jets' first round draft choice in 1998. New England wanted it. New York didn't want to give it up. And ironically enough, the Patriots, you guys may, or for our older listeners, may remember this, but for some of our younger, you may not. Ironically enough, the Patriots were fighting for that pick. They didn't get it in the Bill Parcells deal, but they ended up getting it anyway because the Jets got Curtis Martin that offseason when he signed an offer sheet as a restricted free agent. The Jets did a poison pill in the contract saying if the Patriots would have matched the restricted free agent contract, that after a year he would have been allowed to be a free agent. So they put that specific wording in there and made it incredibly difficult if New England was going to match. So they decided not to match. So in exchange for losing Curtis Martin, the Patriots ended up getting the Jets' first and third rounders in the 1998 draft. Here was the quote from Tagliabue on the differences. Ultimately, there were wide differences on how this would have to be resolved, but ultimately we got it resolved. So there is history with the NFL stepping in to mediate a situation where there's kind of a stalemate here. And in this specific case, there is a great intrigue to the league because of the NFL schedule release. They want Aaron Rodgers on the Jets. The Hard Knocks, by the way, last year, I'll give you this another interesting telltale. Last year, Hard Knocks announced that the Detroit Lions were going to be featured on Hard Knocks in March. It's April, and we've heard nothing, of course, because the Jets are the most attractive team of the four that could potentially be on Hard Knocks. Commanders, come on. Saints, come on. Bears, maybe with the draft, but really no. So, like, it's the Jets. Of course, it's the Jets, but you can't announce Hard Knocks or what? Put Zach Wilson as the lead guy, so you need Aaron Rodgers as well. So there's a lot of NFL intrigue here where potentially the NFL could step in and make it happen. And of course, that would include potentially stepping in ahead of the NFL draft, because it seems like, again, that we're kind of nitpicking, a little bit of this protection, a little bit of no protection, and they're just right there. Right there. But it behooves the NFL to have this figured out before the May release, of course. Now, maybe there is a slight outside chance. Remember Roscoe Diner, Darrell Revis? That was really intriguing. A very different scenario, obviously. So maybe the Aaron Rodgers Packers Jets thing, if that was still a thing, that could kind of be an interesting cameras everywhere sort of thing for Hard Knocks. But it would be even more interesting for the NFL to ensure that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet, which of course would help this NFL scheduling business, which is a much bigger deal than I think a lot of people realize, because again, the significant stark difference of 5 primetime games to 1, the minimum, depending on if Aaron Rodgers is there at all. The NFL's done it before. Could they do it again? Make sure you guys react to the comments. Do you think I'm crazy? Am I on crazy pills? Am I bonkers? Do you agree? Make sure you check out the article down below. Like the video. Excuse me. Hit subscribe down below and help us. We're trying to chase 5,000 subscribers. Guys, a couple of quick announcements. First off, I just want to say that we've got a new Twitter account. I know the handle down below on the ticker says follow at BoyGreen25. While certainly you can feel free to do that, we have a new handle because for those who don't know, I think I've said it a few times. My Boy Green Twitter account has been hacked, unfortunately. And with it being hacked, I just don't have that control to that account anymore. So the new account is boygreen_25. If you guys would like all my podcast and Jets takes and things of that nature, you can follow me on Twitter at boygreen_25. For now, we're going to deal with that as Twitter continues to kind of struggle to help me regain access to that account behind the scenes, which is incredibly frustrating. So if you guys would like to follow me on Twitter, again, at boygreen_25, you guys can hit me up on that social media portal. Number 2, we're going to have a big announcement for the draft. I know people asked me, because we did it a little bit last year for a draft live stream, and I said, I don't think I'm going to do it anymore. It would have to be a plan. Well, it sounds like there's a big plan in order, so guys, stay tuned. We may have an absolutely exciting announcement to make sooner rather than later on a potential live NFL draft stream with all kinds of amazing guests. Guys, keep an eye out for that. Really excited for that. Anywho, thanks for tuning in on a Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. I'm sure we'll see you before the weekend's out. But we always appreciate the support. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.